What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the podcast, man. We got some things to go over. I'm on the late freight, I know I am, but I want to go over these video game awards. I'm your host, Kiaun Mitchell. Welcome to the Analog Circle podcast, and we're going to go over some of the things we saw and the winners on the show. Now, first off, let me tell you guys, oh, man. Let me do a little bit of a better, proper intro. You, the listener that's listening right now, if you want to, chime in, leave your thoughts, leave your opinions, you got a couple of words for me, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, with that being said, guys, I want to jump in and tell you, I thought this was the best Game Award show that Jeff Keighley has ever put on. The pacing was as good as you could imagine, because let's be honest here, as much as we do care about, I don't even know if all of us care about this, but as much as some may care about the different teams getting the awards that they deserve or they've earned, well, we would want to hope they earned them. Most of us are there to see what premieres we're going to see. World premieres. What trailers are we going to get? So, from that perspective, I thought Jeff knocked it out of the park. He was going through all of the different categories: best sim, best racer, or best first person shooter. I'm just making up categories here. But he did not take a lot of time going over these different categories. There were no awkward moments, no corny jokes being told. And of course, that could be because there was no live audience. But I gotta say, this kind of phoning it in like via remote style, man, they might have stumbled across a heck of a format and a formula to go with the Game Awards. So I just want to, shout Jeff Keighley out, him and his team, for putting together just a great show. The best one I've seen thus far. And he had some really great trailers. Now, before we get into the trailers and all of the stuff that was shown, let's just go ahead over the winners of this year's Game Awards. Now, the clear standout this year, and I was shocked by it, was The Last of Us Part 2. I thought it deserved Game of the Year. I thought that what they were going to do was give it a lot of other awards, and they were going to hand the Game of the Year nod over to another game. But nah, The Last of Us Part 2 killed everything this year. So it got Game of the Year, it got Best Game Direction, it got Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, that went to Ghost of Tsushima. Best Score/Music went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Best Audio Design went to The Last of Us Part 2. Best Performance went to Laura Bailey, who played the character of Abby from The Last of Us Part 2. Games for Impact. Actually, Microsoft got on the board this year. They got that with Tell Me Why. Best Ongoing Game was No Man's Sky. Best Indie Game was Hades. I didn't play that game, but I thought that Ori should have won that, but Ori didn't even get nominated. God darn. Best Debut Game was Phansmophobia, which I'm not familiar with. Best Mobile Game was Among Us. They kind of cleaned up a little bit too. Best Community Support was Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Best VR/AR game went to Half-Life Alyx. I think that was very well deserved. I heard nothing but great things about that game. Best Innovation in accessibility, god dog, went to The Last of Us Part 2, and yeah, that accessibility was on another level, where it had the sub voice telling you what the notes were saying. I had never seen a game quite go that extra mile for that, so once again, very, very well deserved. Best Action Game was Hades. Best Action/Adventure Game went to The Last of Us Part 2. Best RPG went went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that deserved it. Best Fighting Game went to Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Shout out to you, Vaughn. I know that's your joint. They released characters after character after character. So, yeah, I think they deserve that as well. Best Family Game went to Animal Crossing New Horizons, which we know that game really caught fire this year. Did a lot of great things. Outside of that, Best Sim/Strategy Game. Again, Microsoft gets a W this year with Flight Simulator, which I said, hey, at least they are winning at the Game Awards, finally, in some categories. So that was awesome. Matter of fact, I guess Ori, that won one year, and Cuphead won another year. So, yeah, they have been winning, but it was just great to see that they had come to this show, and they also walked away from the awards with a studio-made game, because to be fair, even though it's under their banner, kind of like Final Fantasy VII Remake is, Tell Me Why isn't from a Microsoft studio. I believe that's Don't Nod, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a win, but not a win from the home team. But with Flight Simulator, that's a homegrown studio from your team. So congratulations to Microsoft for getting that off. For Best Sports/Racing Game, that went to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Best Multiplayer Game went to Among Us. Content Creator, man, I'm not going through all of that stuff. Nah. We're going to just keep it with the games. They got all of these Best Esport Athlete and Esports Coach. I ain't worried about that. We're going to skip past all of that. But that was it. That was the list that I had. And yeah, it was awesome. But outside of that, man, I want to talk about what we saw with some of these trailers. These trailers, man, let's talk about it. So at the end of the show, they ended, and I just wrote down random stuff, random trailers that I saw. I might have missed a couple of things, so you got to pardon me. But they ended the show with Mass Effect, which looked good. Now, even though it was a cinematic, once again, I will never be okay with them showing cinematics. We are at a point where it's not necessary. If you don't have gameplay, I mean, you could do something to show something off that's real-time gameplay if you've been working on the game. So, I mean, Mass Effect, they're saying it will return and basically it will be better. I hope so. They have that senior team that's working on it. And, her picking up that N7 pennant said, man, it did give me a little bit of a happy face, like, good grief, what are they going to do? Was her name Asari? I can't remember, but, she was in the original trilogy, so who knows what's going to happen with this? Could this be the return of Mass Effect where they get it right? I want to believe that this is the case, but only time is going to tell. We don't have a release year, no release month, just nothing at all. Just know that Mass Effect is coming back, and I hope it comes back with a vengeance. But we also got for you Smash Brother fans, Sephiroth is coming to the game, which it showed him and Cloud fighting each other. Thought that was pretty cool for the fans that are into the game. Not bad at all. Now, this next one that I'm going to talk about, it got a lot of people excited, and that was from Turtle Rock, I believe, Studios, who showed off a game called Back 4 Blood. Now, this game is releasing on June 22nd, 2021, and you can catch extra gameplay of the game on 12/17 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this one had everybody clapping and cheering. Oh my gosh, because it's from the same people that made Left 4 Dead years ago, and people had been looking for a sequel. That game did very well with the 4-player co-op. I can't say that I played it because I'd be lying to you. I didn't try it because you guys know I don't really go online and play too much. But for the people that were into that game, they said this is the closest we're going to get. And the thing that I appreciated about them was when they said the cinematic trailer, they mentioned it. Yeah, cinematic trailers are cool, but we know that you guys really want to see gameplay. And I said, he's talking to me. He's talking directly to me. And when they showed that alpha gameplay off, God dog, That game had me looking like, wow, if I had a team that could be patient with me and wouldn't mind me scrubbing up the place and have to save my life 150,000 times, I just might throw my hat in the ring for something like that. That game looked like a ton of fun under the sun. I mean, the shooting mechanics, it looked like it was a real smooth experience. And I know it was only a couple of minutes of a clip, but I said, wow, this shows a lot of promise. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens with that. Hopefully it'll meet the expectations that people that loved the Left 4 Dead franchise, you know, that have been wanting another one to come out so bad. Hopefully this one right here will kind of, you know, scratch that itch that's going on with that type of gamer that wants this game. And I'll say this too. This show, it showed off a lot of 4-player co-op games. So Turtle Rock, glad to see you guys working on this, and you heard the fans, and next year it'll happen. But once again, just to reiterate, on the 17th of this month, December, you'll be able to get an extended look at the game. Outside of that, they showed a game. Now, this was interesting. This was from Striking Distance, the developer, who I believe that team is made up of ex-Dead Space devs, and they're working on this game called the Callisto Protocol that's releasing in 2022. And me, I was a big Dead Space fan. I ain't gonna cap with you. I didn't play the first one, didn't play the second one. I came in on the third one, which everybody says is the worst one out of the bunch. But for me, I thought it was awesome. I had the best time with Dead Space 3. I thought the action was really good. I thought that the gameplay was great. I thought the story was, you know, it was okay. Just a really overall really good game to me. So a lot of us, similar to Left 4 Dead, and I'm definitely in this camp. I've been wanting to see a Dead Space game for years. And it looks like, even though it's not going to technically be Dead Space, that is going to be, once again, this game called Callisto Protocol, it has those Dead Space elements in it that really just reminded me of, oh, how scary. Dead Space had me jumping a little bit. I'm not going to say it had me, oh my gosh, over the top, all scared and nervous and whatnot, but it was some tense moments in that game when you were going into a room and all of a sudden you're bombarded and, you know, you got to shoot off the certain limbs and all this. That game was, oh man, I loved it. So if they can do anything like that with this game, sign me the heck up. I can't wait to see more footage on this. I don't know, you know, once again, I don't know how far into development they are. I'm thinking that they gotta be pretty far in if they're saying that it's gonna be releasing in 2022. So hopefully later on this year, we'll get some real live gameplay of it. And did I say next year? I hope I did. Next year, we'll see some real live gameplay of it, and I hope that it looks marvelous. So outside of that game, Sega had showed up, and they showed off a game called Endless Dungeon, which, I mean, it looked okay. It was an overhead view game, nothing that really moved my meter too much. I was cool off of it, but they showed off another game. Now, this game got me hyped. I can't even front. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Now, this game is releasing on February 25th, 2021 on Nintendo Switch exclusively. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. And this is the original Demon Souls, if you ask me, brother. This game, you got 2 hits. You lose your doggone suit, and then you're down into your boxes. You get hit again, game over. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, brothers. I hope they got an easy mode on this joker, because I am going to be playing on easy mode. But the game looks awesome. It looks really good. Nintendo is continuing to stay out here and get these exclusivity deals. And man, I'm pumped. I will be buying this next year on the 25th of February, dying all over the place. You guys know I'm probably not going to finish it more than likely, but I am going to buy it and support Capcom for bringing this back. Now, an interesting thing I want to bring up when it comes to Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, this was a game that was not mentioned on that alleged leaked list of Capcom games that were coming out in the future. Now, I would have thought that if that list was even somewhat kind of close to being accurate, that this game would have leaked outside of everything else, because it is coming out next year. Most of those games that they were talking about on that list are coming out in 2023 and 2024. So you mean to tell me that on a list that is allegedly supposed to be a accurate leaked list of Capcom games that are coming out, you couldn't have put this one on the list? This just all of a sudden just flew over the radar and you couldn't figure out this one right here. I don't know how accurate that list is. When I first talked about that list, I told you guys, take this one with a mustard seed of truth. I don't know. Capcom did not confirm or deny anything on this list. But if they couldn't get this one right on the list, it absolutely makes me question that list even harder as to how accurate it is. But moving on nonetheless to another game that was shown. Now, one of the bigger games that debuted came from the Initiative. Oh man, the Initiative did show up and they showed off the secret that we all knew was there, that it was true. They just confirmed it. Perfect Dark is being made. Now, I can't sit up here and say I was so hyped up and blown away by it because it was a CG trailer, man. CG again. CG trailer. Initiative. Listen, man. Listen. Microsoft. Listen. I understand that you guys are in early days, and I know this is probably going to come off as unfair because Sony does it too. They show off these CG trailers, and the game isn't coming out for 10 years, and they do it. But Microsoft, you're just in a bit of a different situation here. Here it is. They're not drowning. I mean, I don't know. They might be. I don't know. They just don't have the games right now. But I will say, next year is looking pretty bright. It's looking good for next year, man. But with this, I was just hoping to see some kind of gameplay. Yes, I am glad that it's Joanna Dark. That's cool. I was hoping that they would have tried to do a different character, something brand new, a new IP. But since they have chosen Joanna Dark, this is where they're going. I respect the decision. I just wanted to see gameplay. And that's for all of these different developers and these publishers. I don't care about your cinematics. I don't. I just want to see gameplay. So it's not just for Microsoft. It's for everybody. That cinematics, why are we doing them in 2020, about to be 2021? Why are we doing them? Anyway, outside of that, it was cool. It was great to see Joanna Dark. Hopefully next year we'll see some real gameplay footage. Who the world knows? I hope so though. But the next game, it looked like a Panzer Dragoon, kind of like a knock. Nah, I'm not gonna call it a knockoff. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it just kind of reminded me of Panzer Dragoon. Now this game is called Century Age of Ashes, and that's releasing on February of 2021. I believe it's a PC exclusive though. I didn't see anything on it for console. But they showed off a smaller title that was called A Shady Part of Me, where the girl's shadow was following her. I believe it's pretty much on everything right now. Matter of fact, that released during the Game Awards. It kind of put me in a mind state of maybe Inside or I don't know, Nightmares, Little Nightmares, something like that. It looked okay. It didn't look bad. But after that, they showed off another AA title that was called Chia, where the main character can take on different forms. That was pretty interesting. It had a pretty cool art style to it. Don't really have much more to say about that, but another AA game was shown and had given me these Volcano High or Tell Me Why type of vibes. It's called Open Roads, and it's a mother and a daughter trying to find out about her grandmother or mother's secrets or something like that. Nah, brother, I'm not playing the Thelma and Louise simulator, brother. I'm not doing it. And it might be dope, but those kind of games, they really don't appeal to me. But for someone else, it just might. It might. Now, Xbox, they showed off another exclusive, and it's actually called Evil Dead. Once again, another exclusive, whether it's console exclusive or not, who cares? They're out here working. So Evil Dead is the next game up. It's being developed by Saber Interactive, and it's looking good. It actually, once again, looks like a 4-player co-op. The character he's talking about, they went to the woods, and, all of a sudden they got trapped. It just looks really, really good. I'm just glad to see Microsoft. They're working. They're trying to get things worked out. Next year is looking like a much, much better year for them. So outside of that, they showed off another Xbox exclusive, which is Ark 2, which no gameplay again. It was all CG. I can't front. I thought for just a minute that was Horizon Forbidden West. I thought that was going to be the big secret that Vin Diesel, he was in the game for some reason. I haven't seen Vin Diesel in a game since, I know the Fast and the Furious came out. He was in that. I didn't play that. But the last time I played as a Vin Diesel character was in The Wheelman, which was amazing. Ubisoft, can you please make another Wheelman? That game was good. It was really good. I don't want to oversell it, but it was good. It's a good game. So another exclusive for the Xbox. I don't know if this is going to be a single player, story-driven campaign game, or if it's going to be just like the original Ark and it's going to be online and you're going to just have tasks that you have to do. I'm hoping that it will be more of a campaign-driven game, and if it is that, I would definitely give it a shot, to see what it's hitting for, and who knows, maybe it'll be in Game Pass day and date, which will be even better. But another game that was shown, now this was for PlayStation 5, it was called Season, which it looked okay. It kind of had a Gravity Rush kind of look to it, where it looked like he was taking pictures. He was riding on a bike. It looked cool, man. It didn't look like, it might have appealed to me. I don't know. I might have to keep my eye on that one. It was kind of interesting. But another CG trailer was shown. Now, this was for Wild West. No, it was called Evil West, and that's coming in 2021. Man, these CGs, they be killing me, brother. But it is what it is. I'm always down for a Wild West game if, it's done right. And even though this one, it looked a little different because it had like a horror element to it, it might be pretty interesting. But they showed off Dragon Age. Dragon Age was shown. It was another CG trailer. Big deal. Not too bad. But an interesting game called It Takes Two, which releases on March 26, 2021. The characters have to work on their relationship, but it looks pretty good. It's a co-op game being published by EA. Not bad. Give it a look. It Takes Two. Looks okay. Not bad, man. Then they showed off oh my gosh. Okay. This wasn't the one, but Flight Simulator was shown off. That's releasing on the Xbox Series X and S. And that's going to be out in the summer of 2021. I was happy about that. I'm telling you, if they have like a flight stick or Something like that, man. I don't know, brother. I might be flying around the doggone planet, man, across the country and other places. That game looks kind of nice. So again, another game coming out for the Xbox Series X and S. Not a game for everybody, possibly including myself, depending on how good it is. I'm still willing to give it a shot, and it's in Game Pass. So it's okay. Just give me the flight stick and I might just take them up on that offer. But the game that did get me hyped, though, was a game called Crimson Desert, which looked really, really good. If you don't remember, just type that in. Crimson Desert. The graphics were very impressive on this game. It almost had like this aesthetic of, it was kind of a mixture of The Witcher and Assassin's Creed. Just the moves that this character was pulling off and the lush, beautiful environments. You gotta check this game out. I don't know if it's on the PC. I don't know if it's on the Series X or the PlayStation 5. I don't know. But I need to get more information on Crimson Desert. This game could be something big. Graphic, man, I'm telling you, that next gen leap, it was showing. It was definitely showing with that game. I mean, those environments were looking very nice. Very, very nice. Now, outside of that, they showed another Xbox exclusive. And this is, the name of this game was, what was this? It was, oh man, I got really excited about this one too. It was Warhammer 40K Dark Tide. Now that also is releasing next year. That game looked good, man. It looked really good. Again, another Xbox exclusive next year. Things are looking up, people. I'm not saying that they're going to just knock it out the park next year and it's going to be just stellar, just flawless. But I once again love the fact that Microsoft, they are getting third-party deals. They understand that they have to go out there and they have to work and they got to get other deals on the table while their developers are getting their first-party titles ready. So I commend Microsoft for doing that. Xbox, Phil Spencer, those guys over there for continuing to get these games onto the platform next year. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like it's going to be for everybody and it's going to make, the tons of gamers say, oh man, Xbox is looking amazing all of a sudden. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I'm glad and happy to see that they are not just sitting idly by and not doing anything. So I commend them for that. But outside of that, they showed a game called Hood Outlaws and Legends. We saw this a while ago, but this game is coming out in May. Well, coming out on May 7th, 2021. It looks nice. I believe it's co-op. You're supposed to be trying to get treasure from other people and rob other people. Very interesting game. It should be kind of cool. They showed off a game called Elite Dangerous Odyssey, which is a first-person shooter, which actually looked pretty good. Looks like it's a multi-plat, so it should be on everything. And that was about it. I know that Sony, they showed off some game with a rabbit. Can't remember, ARMS or something. That couldn't have been ARMS. I think that's Nintendo. But it was some game with a rabbit. It was a side scroller. That game looked pretty good too. I mean, like I said, I didn't get all of the games on the show that were was shown. That doesn't even make sense. I didn't get the full list of everything that was shown at the show. But yeah, I thought overall it was just a fantastic event. I was not bored. Those 3 hours, they went by pretty fast, as the show was going on. I mean, golly, how many was that? Let me see something. It looked like they showed off, if I'm looking at this right, 22. I wrote down 22 different games that they showed off as far as, premieres go, or world premieres. So 22 plus maybe give or take another 3 or 4 that I probably missed. So we're talking about like teetering close to possibly around like 30 different trailers that were shown during the course of the show. I mean, of course, we know that Master Chief, he's going to be in Fortnite now, which I think, who was it? Was it, one sub said he had hit me up and he was saying that because of that, how we had heard that Halo was coming to PlayStation and, you know, he was going to be on the, you know, on the PlayStation console. He said, I guess now he actually will be on the PlayStation console because he's going to be in Fortnite. So, I mean, that's cool. Now, I don't know. Now, I'm not sure how that works, if that's an exclusive to the Xbox or if he really is available across all platforms. I have no information on that, but I thought it was cool that they were able to get Master Chief on there, as well as other announcements. Like I said, I didn't get everything, but I thought overall it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. I think that this year it proved that you can really phone it in. They don't have to be there necessarily. I understand that Jeff Keighley, he wants to make it kind of like the Oscars, you know, that kind of feel. But I mean, the way that this one went off this year, I really like this format the most. I mean, it was so snappy, man, so fast and moving on. People didn't have to get up on the stage and making long speeches and all of that stuff. I mean, I still don't understand why. I guess the only thing that I would say I don't understand is or gets nominated or esports players and people that make content. I don't see what they're doing. No offense to them. I mean, none at all. I mean it in no offensive way, but I just don't see how they correlate with guys that are on the front line really doing the work and making the games from scratch versus someone playing it, you know, competitively. If they're going to do that, then esports, they need to make their own award show and do it that way. But I just don't think that that's necessary. But who the frick am I, you know? But yeah, overall great show. I didn't want to make this podcast too long or this episode, so I'm about to wrap it up, guys. But I'd like to hear from you and know what you guys thought about it. You can do it two different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I will see you guys in the next episode.